Let's talk about reaching your peak potential. Let's talk about change at top speed. Indeed. That's why you'll want to listen to this episode of Learn How to See Better. It's the only podcast out there that'll improve your vision the longer you listen. What's up, everybody? This is Drew Davis, and I want to welcome you back to Learn How to See Better. It's the only podcast out there that'll improve your vision the longer you listen. And today I want to share a little motivational message, really just kind of recapping some of the experiences and observations and things I've learned, ways I've learned how to see better, right, over the last month or so. And so I decided to title this episode Top Speed Indeed, because it's really a episode about change and the magnitude of change and the power of these amazing human beings that we are, all of you tuning in. And everyone's excited about the AI and the robots, but I want to talk about amazing humans today. Again, I'm calling this Top Speed Indeed. At the time you're listening to this, we're just finishing up the Olympics. Over the last few weeks, we've been able to see some amazing, displays of human achievement, performance, speed, agility, strength, grace, and dexterity. Just so many elements of performance and fascinating skill sets, and seeing humans reach their top speed, top heights, abilities to be able to perform in their craft. And a lot of it is inspirational, just to be able to see people from around the world coming together in one place and really showing the world what is possible in the realm of human achievement in the physical arena. And so that's a great magnitude of change that's happening for the future. If you're old enough to be remembering when great swimmers like Michael Phelps were in their prime and winning all those gold medals, if you fast forward a little bit, there's, a snapshot of a young swimmer getting, his first medal, and he's standing next to Michael Phelps. And if my memory serves me correctly, I think he might have just beaten his record, or might have beaten him head to head at the, one of these scenarios, or they tied. I don't remember the exact thing, but as it turns out, that person that had just essentially reached Michael Phelps' status of performance, or even exceeded it, was once just a kid watching Michael Phelps win his first gold medal, and was so inspired by it, they said, wow, maybe one day that could be me. And so you want to talk about top speed. Indeed, is the path that individual put themselves on to make that decision to become something, someone, to command and demand the best of themselves, to be able to show themselves and show the world what they're capable of. And when you look at, the realm of time, from maybe a 10-year-old kid watching the Olympics to being a 20-year-old kid winning a gold medal at the Olympics, it's like, that's pretty fast. Change happening at top speed. And so it's a reminder to all of us out there, the seasons are changing, the summer's wrapping up, people are moving back into school, and the pace of things is picking up or shifting. Athletes might have two-a-days as they're getting ready for football season, or you might have some advanced classes or training for your profession, or for your career, for your educational path, and recognizing that there are measures in place that you can take to really put yourself on a path of progression, to really optimize how you get from where you are today to where you want to go, so you too can change with top speed. Indeed. And it's interesting because it's not only just in the realm of performance, like sports. I had an opportunity to go to an event recently where I had a chance to see people essentially put themselves on a fast path to change, making a definite decision that they're going to empower themselves with education and support to move themselves forward and advance themselves in some of their professional goals, and in some of their, business and financial aspirations, and recognizing the fact that that can happen in an instant, that the decision can be made that fast. Now, there might be a whole lot that leads up to a person making a life-changing decision, or putting themselves in a position to actually start making that change at top speed, at warp speed, at record speed. But the point of it all is, once the decision takes place everything else really begins to start falling like dominoes. And so if you want to be able to have and impart change in your life and do so at top speed, it's recognizing that the magic happens after the mind is made up and that decision actually takes place. So when you think about change, the process can happen a lot faster than we give credit to. I mean, going back to the Olympics example, there were instances where you can actually see the look in the faces of the athletes as they're working through and pushing to get there. Where? There. That top spot, that best position that they can get to. In some instances, it's about representing their country and just being able to show up and compete and not necessarily be first, but making sure their performance is their best and not their worst. And so looking at the transformations that people are making on the fly and being able to take all that they've put into their development, the buildup, the background, to channel it all into this one moment is really a sight to see. And recognizing that even if you're in an environment where you're making change in your life and just thinking about all the things that have culminated up to this moment where you actually say, hey, today is the day. Today is the day I'm going to make some change. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to set out on a new path and a new course. And the change should not be so intimidating. Believe it or not, the only constant in the world is change, pretty much. So it's one of those things that's always going to be there. And the more we can learn to embrace change and learn to deal with it, we become a little bit more flexible. We all love a solid oak tree, but at the same time, when the winds of change are in the air like a hurricane, you want to be able to have the flexibility of a palm tree, something with some more that can kind of move with the wind and be able to not be blown over. So thinking about the season that we're moving into the fall, it's again a season of change. The weather will begin cooling off in many parts of the world, and looking at the fact that you can kind of grab this moment of motivation by the horns and really leverage it as a point where you can kind of launch into that next thing, that next project, that next whatever it is in your life, whether it's a fitness plan, an education plan, a new business plan, a new plan to rebuild or resurrect a relationship that might need care, nurture, feeding, and strength, or maybe even just rededicating yourself to you and making change at top speed, indeed. And so that's really what I wanted to take a moment to do today, is as we wrap up August 2024, moving into the Labor Day weekend, look at labor a different way. Turn it into a labor of love, the things that you do, because they can be that gateway that you just need to step through to enable that catalyst of change. So keep loving, keep laboring, and keep looking forward to the future with optimism, because you can have positive change in a dramatically reduced time frame than what many people are expecting. So if you want to have that change at top speed and see that shift take place sooner than later, take action, take massive imperfect action, and take a moment to really just kind of calibrate yourself and think about what's possible. Use the sources of motivation that are around you. Maybe it's the Olympics. For some, it's going to be saying, hey, the preseason's over. We're moving into the regular season. I want to use athletics and leverage that as something visual and something that's always happening all around me, that you might already be tuned into, is something saying, hey, I'm surrounding myself with, in my mind, with individuals who are focused on greatness and being able to pull out the best in them. So you can do that through, in this case, I'm talking about the TV screen, but also the people around you that you keep, the company you keep. Get yourself around some high energy individuals. Get yourself around some motivated individuals. Get yourself around some successful, driven individuals that really help you instill in yourself that reminder that you need outside of this episode, that change can happen quicker than you think, and it can happen for you at top speed, indeed. So for all of you out there, thank you for listening and tuning in to this episode of Learn How to See Better. It's the only podcast out there that'll improve your vision the longer you listen. This is your host, Drew Davis, and I will catch you on the next episode. Thanks for listening.